In today's video, we compare the standard Winnebago Travato to the National Park Foundation Edition Travato. That's a mouthful. What are the differences? Is it worth the money? And can you make a standard Winnebago Travato into a National Park Foundation Edition? This could be a controversial video. You may not like what I have to say. You may agree with everything I have to say. That's what we do here at Go Small, Live Large. We learn, we share, you decide what's best for you. Let's get into it. Thanks for tuning in today. Really appreciate that. My name is Scott. I'm your host. Welcome to Go Small, Live Large. We are a YouTube channel dedicated to the RV lifestyle, the Class B RV lifestyle. What's a Class B, you might ask? That's a van, typically. And I live full-time in my Winnebago Travato. 59G is the floor plan. L is for lithium. I have a Volta lithium-ion energy system in here. I have been full-time in my rig since February 2019. 30 states, about 50,000 miles, one amazing experience. What we do here at Go Small, Live Large is we collectively learn, I share it, you share it, and then you decide what's best for you. Today we're talking about the National Park Foundation Edition Travato. You're probably asking yourself, what the heck is a National Park Foundation Edition Travato? Winnebago had a really great idea a few years ago, which was to add some additional feature sets to a traditional Winnebago Travato. We're going to cover those in detail today. What are they, and what are the benefits of having those? And then my opinion on whether or not that's worth the value that is charged for the National Park Foundation Edition. And then we're going to get right into how can you turn a standard Travato like I have into something like the National Park Foundation Edition. And are you ready for this? All the upgrades in my rig, including one that's coming up I haven't even spent money on yet, the total investment's a little less than $11,000 for all these upgrades. So you're probably going to know about the cost on the National Park Foundation Edition versus the regular. We're going to talk about that too. Be sure and stay to the end because I do give you a couple of questions to consider and my recommendation on which unit you should buy, a standard or a National Park Foundation Edition Travato. Let's jump. So you might be wondering if this is a virtual screen behind me. No, I'm actually in a public park in Spokane, Washington. This is called Manitou Park. This is absolutely spectacular. Pretty smoky here today. There's a lot of forest fires west of here, and that smoke is drifted in. So it's really quiet and eerily interesting to look at. I hope it changes color when the sun starts to set. Anyway, just want to give you a tip on that. Luke is running around, so if you see him or if you see people jogging by, that's what's going on there. So what I want to do is take a look, and I'm holding my iPad to read so I don't make any mistakes here, is take a look at the Travato in particular. So the Winnebago Travato is a camper van, 21 feet long. It's based on the Ram ProMaster van chassis, which is front-wheel drive, 6-cylinder, gasoline, and to the Ram, Winnebago does a build-out. There's two floor plans. It's the K floor plan and then the G floor plan. I own a G floor plan and crow about it all the time. The K floor plan, the things that make it pretty different and attractive to a lot of people is that it's really an open floor plan. It's one big cavernous space, a safe for the bathroom, which is in the back of the rig. There's two twin beds, a small galley, and it sleeps two people. Maybe three if you put the long cushion in the front and you got a grandkid that wants to sleep with you, something like that, but generally sleeps two people. The G floor plan is quite different. There's 4 distinct living areas in a G floor plan. The great room up front, as I call it, the galley, the bedroom, which is a Murphy bed, and then the very large wet bath that's in the corner of the rig. The G floor plan can sleep up to 4 people. The dinette collapses into a bed in the great room, so it's about a 4x6 bed up front and a 4x6 bed in the back. Also has a hallway, and when the bed is down, it's called garage space, where I store my grill, my cat box, and some other stuff. That'd be kind of hard to do in the K floor plan. This is not about a floor plan comparison today. This is about taking those two floor plans and applying the National Park Foundation Edition upgrades, I'll call them, to each of those floor plans. And that's what Winnebago has done. It's a great marketing move that they made. It was a limited edition and they've continued it, which is awesome. If you go to their website today, early September 2020, it's still available as an option. They've added additional color schemes from the get-go. They haven't added a whole lot of additional feature sets to the National Park Foundation Edition Travato that I'm aware of at this point, looking at their website. So that package has been offered for about a year, almost 2 years now, I think. And it was not available when I bought my Travato. So now that we've talked about the Travato, the two floor plans, K and G, let's talk about what the differences are in the National Park Foundation Edition Travato, because the floor plans are the same for each floor plan model. It's just the differences in the National Park Foundation Edition that make it a distinctive rig. So let's cover that right now. The first thing that you notice right out of the gate, right into the showroom, is that it has a very distinctive graphics package. It comes in 4 colors with this kind of funky geometric design and some special badging above the door, I believe it is, on that says National Park Foundation Edition. Winnebago is good enough to give a donation to the National Park Foundation Edition, which is a private cause toward bettering our public national parks, which is awesome. The graphics package is kind of a geometric design, but comes in a couple of 4 colors, I believe. There's a green, a yellow, a silver, and a copper canyon, which I find super attractive. If you're in with a bunch of Travatos and you're in a National Park Edition, you're going to stand out a little bit as, hey, I'm just a little bit cooler than the other kids on the block, because the badging and the geometric design calls that out. The next thing that's a big difference is the tires and the wheels that come on a National Park Edition versus the Standard Edition. The wheel is the same size and the tire is vastly different. The wheel is an alloy wheel, makes it look pretty tough, but the tire is a BF Goodrich K02 all-terrain tire. I think they look amazing on the National Park Edition, and was the inspiration for me for getting mine swapped out to those same tires, actually, on different wheels. Another addition on the National Park Edition is they put Winnebago put Summo Springs on each of the 4 corners to help the rig. What's a Summo Spring? It's this kind of compression technology rubber thing that sticks on each of the 4 corners of the suspension. What it does, it lifts the van just a little bit and it tightens the ride. It makes it a little bit more stiff, a little less sway, a little less more like a floaty Cadillac, just kind of firms it up. A lot of Travato owners have put those on, including me, and that comes standard on a National Park Edition. Another difference that comes with the National Park Edition is external solar. So including my rig, has an external solar port where I can plug in an external solar panel to augment what's on the roof. The external solar panel that comes on the National Park Edition is pretty big. I'm going to guess it's 200 watts. I don't know exactly. You probably do, some of you. So if you can shoot that in the comments down below, I would appreciate that. Couldn't find that quickly enough to make this video. Sorry, but I think it's 200, which is actually quite additive to the about 200 or so that come on the roof as well. The good thing about the external solar panel is you can move it into the sun while your rig stays in the shade, and that's pretty cool. Some of the changes they made on the interior are subtle but meaningful, in my opinion. They put storage baskets that hang from underneath the cabinets, where you might put a phone, an iPad, a book, something like that. They kind of fold down and then fold back up against the bottom of the cabinets. That's kind of cool. Every little bit of storage in a Class B is a good thing. They also, Winnebago also installed Ram Tough mounts. This is kind of a rail if you think of like track lighting, and then you can put different accessories into that rail. Very similar to track lighting, where you can put in different styles of lights and move them around the track. Same idea, Ram Tough tracks are mounted to the bottom of the cabinets as well. Another change that they made was a roll-up screen. So you're looking out of the rig at me, I'm looking at you inside the rig, and between us is the big sliding door. And they have a roll-up screen, not the sliding screen like I have. Demonstration? Quick demo. But so they have a roll-up, which is pretty cool, right? And the last thing that's rounded out the interior is they have a marine grade vinyl, I'm going to call it, woven floor mat. I think it looks pretty cool. The owners that I've talked to say that they really do like it. It protects the vinyl flooring underneath, gives a little bit of warmth. It's easy to clean. The sweeps, or they can pull the whole thing out and hose it off with the hose, which is pretty cool. So that's the other thing that rounds out the interior difference for the National Park Edition. All right, so I saved the best for last, and that is the biggest difference on the National Park Edition versus the standard Travato is they're both equipped with a Volta Pure3 lithium-ion energy system, but The National Park Edition has all 4 cores loaded into the energy system. Mine, for example, only has 3 of the 4 available cores loaded. Core is the term I'm using. There's 4 compartments. You put the energy cells in each. The National Park Edition has all 4 filled. Mine just has the 3. The result of that is there's about a 33% additional energy available because you have 4 of these cores added versus just 3. So there, the National Park Edition has over 11,000 watt hours of energy stored. Mine has 8,700. Yes, sir. So that's a pretty big difference. Over 30% more energy just in that system alone. Pretty genius marketing move that Winnebago made working with Volta to put that 4th core in and be able to come out with a really cool package like that. The limited edition has been continuing in the National Park Edition for some time. We'll see where that lands down the road. But that's the really big differentiator between the standard Travato and the National Park Edition. Let's jump inside and let's go over some of why I think those additional features are cool, not so cool, or yeah, whatever. Let's get inside. So welcome to my tiny home, and welcome to my Travato 59GL Standard Edition. So we've covered what the differences are. Now I want to just kind of give you my opinion on why those are cool and whether I would give it a thumb up, sideways, or down. So let's talk about the graphics. The big thing you can see right away from the outside is the graphics. Gives it a distinctive look. That's why I think it's cool. Separates them from the rest of the Travato crowd. Makes others envious, maybe, which, you know, that's always good to have the shiny thing on the block, right? And maybe it reduces the RV look of the Travato in general. So I think overall, I would give the graphics package a thumb up. I think it's cool they have some color options to choose from. I like the graphics package. What do you think? I would love to know what you think. Comment below, please, and share with us what you think of the graphics package. Next up is tires and wheels. So we talked about the wheels being the same size, alloy looking better for sure. The tires, to me, are the big difference. The BF Goodrich K02 all-terrain tire. For me, better traction, better grip, much tougher. I have a lot more confidence in those tires than the OEM tires that came with it. So I'm giving the tire wheel package a big thumb up on the National Park Edition. Next thing is the solar. We talked about that. You're probably gonna disagree with me here, and that's okay. I think solar in a Volta equipped lithium-ion coach is really not necessary. Why do I say that? Because the way the lithium-ion system charges is either by driving or charging plugging into shore power. So solar is additive, but it's like filling an Olympic-sized swimming pool with a garden hose. It kind of keeps it topped off, but you're never going to really fill it. So it's additive, but it's not really a big deal. The biggest thing with the external solar panel, as I mentioned, is you can park it in the sunlight and keep your van in the shade. For me, having my van in the shade is a heck of a lot better than sitting in the baking sunlight, because the temperature difference inside is 10 to 20 degrees different by just being in the shade. So if you're trying to harvest solar by being in the sun and then blasting the air conditioner, you're never going to have a really comfy experience inside. You want your rig in the shade, air conditioner on maybe, but with this you can put your solar panel outside. The deal with the external solar power panel is it's heavy, and it's like a folding table, like, you know, the banquet table. So it folds up like this, or extends out like this with some legs, and then when you come to store it, you fold it up like this, and it's like a folding table, banquet table. It has a little handle. It's pretty heavy, actually. I was surprised at how heavy it was. And there's really no place to store it unless you're going to store it above the cab. Maybe you can tuck it under one of the... I think you have to store it only above the cab, which really is a compromised position for G owners, because then you have to decide, are you taking your puzzle bed pieces and eliminating the rest of the storage up there to take a solar panel? How often will you use it? So I'm actually going to give the solar panel a thumb down. To me, it's kind of not a huge gain, and you're giving up a lot to have a little bit of gain. So what do you think? Are you going to use your solar panel or not? For the interior components, the hanging basket that would fit right here that would kind of swing down, have some additional stuff stored in there, it was one. The ram mounts, that's kind of cool. Floor mat, that's kind of cool, I guess. I'm kind of giving them a sideways thumb because nothing really compelling there for me. Maybe for you it is. Maybe you have a lot of knickknacks. Maybe you want to mount a bunch of stuff here. I've discovered a clever way to hang my iPad so I can have that big TV experience while in bed without a RAM mount. So I don't know. Sideways on the interior. What do you think? And the last one is the Volta system. We love Volta, right? What's cool about the National Park Edition is, again, the fourth core, as I'm calling it, is loaded. And I'm guessing, and this is all it is, because I don't have a National Park Edition, but with my rooftop air conditioner, and I have the NDQ model, which comes in the National Park Editions, I'm getting routinely 10 to 12 hours of AC on a 50% cycle off a single charge. That's quite a bit. My guess is that the National Park Edition is probably going to be able to get you 15 to 16 hours. Again, it's about 30% more energy available, so that seems to me to be about right, which really would carry you through a whole 12-hour cycle, day or night, with a single charge, which is pretty impressive. And what's also nice about having that additional 30% energy in your Volta system is you have more time to just be stationary. You can just stay put, and you can have more time between the charge on demands, which largely is done by driving. So if you're boondocking and you're staying on the Volta on inverter off mode, meaning just the 12 volt appliances are running, no AC, and no 110 volt outlets, you can boondock quite a long time. With that additive solar, you're going to run out of tank capacity well before you run out of electricity. So that to me is, again, thumb up on the Volta, but you're going to run out of tank capacity, so you're going to want to, this is not a great rig, in my opinion, for spending 2 weeks out in the boonies, because you're going to run out of tank capacity before anything else, I think. So if you plan to RV like me, which is to keep in motion every couple of days, 2 or 3 days, that extra 30% really becomes kind of irrelevant because as I'm moving around, I'm charging my system. So I have not felt any constraint by having 3 of the 4 cores loaded into my Volta system. Now, the National Park folks may totally disagree with me, and I hope you put your comments down below because I have not driven and lived in one of those, so I'm relying on you to provide some background here. But again, the way I roll, literally, is I'm in motion every 2 or 3 days, so my system is charged up 100% whenever I stop. Pretty amazing. I mean, that's the beauty of the Volta system, right? Would I buy a National Park Foundation Edition Travato if it was available when I bought mine? If it was available in 2018, I would have said yes. I would have bought that system. But knowing what I know now, I would not buy that system if it was available and I was going shopping now. Why? Because, again, I'm in motion, so charging the Volta system, I'm not missing that 33%, 30% of additional energy because my system's charged all the time, basically. And what I've been able to do is actually upgrade my standard Travato to a near, outside the Volta, National Park Edition feature set, and in fact, in some ways, exceed it. So I want to run down the list with you on how I've modded out my Travato to, in some ways, equal or even excel on the Park Edition system, save the Volta upgrade. Hey, if you're getting anything out of this, I sure appreciate a thumb up. That helps me know you liked it, helps others know you liked it, and find the channel, lets YouTube know that you enjoyed this. And again, this is all about commenting. So you got to go down below and tell me what your thoughts are on all this stuff we're covering today. So let me run down this list. I've upgraded my exterior to a large degree, but have not upgraded my interior. A lot of other folks, including the lovely and gracious Ginger Walkabout, if you haven't subscribed to her channel yet, you got to get over there and see her. She has modded out the entire insides of her Travato, whereas I've done the exact opposite. I've modded out the exterior of my Travato. So let me run down how I've made my standard Travato as good as, in my opinion, or even better than a National Park Edition through these modifications. Number one, I replaced the wheels and tires, about $1,800 for that upgrade. The video on that, that upgrade was $1,700, and I'm sorry, $1,800, rounding up. And I just love the way they look, the way they feel, the way they drive. It just gives me a great deal of confidence. I added Summo Springs early on. That addition, again, raised it just a tad bit, about an inch, and gave me a better ride feel quality. That was about $1,000. I did a video on that too. I've added throw rugs under the table at the entry and in front of the galley. And for me, that works really well because they're really easy to get out and just broom off or take to the washateria. Did a video on that. And just get the rugs washed really, really simply. $50 upgrade for that. The biggest expense I've done so far is wrapping the van. My van, named Lily, used to be silver. It was the Silver Deluxe. I paid extra to have all the extra silver paint put on it, only to put a big old wrap on it. I did a video on that. That charge is about $5,000. Pretty expensive sticker, as my partner Kyle likes to say, and he's right. But it's totally changed the look and feel of the van from an outside standpoint, and I love it, and I would do it again in a minute. Even being next to a couple of National Park Foundation Edition Travatos, I think my exterior graphics gets a thumbs up compared to theirs. Solar. I'm actually actively considering how to get rid of the solar so I can put a decking material up on top, so I can put some chairs up there. I want to be on my rig. I know it's kind of weird, but it just totally changes the perspective, even in a city park, being up on the rig. I probably wouldn't do that in a city park because it looks kind of weird. People might be concerned about my mental capabilities, but the solar, again, it's so little additive to the Volta system. I would prefer to get rid of mine altogether. I'm going to call that a $500 expense to replace it with a deck. I had a brush guard, which has been super practical. I've hit some road debris that the car in front of me kicked up that I didn't see, and it's actually hit the brush guard, not through my radiator. So it's already paid for itself probably. That was $600. And God forbid I ever hit a deer. Deer strikes are just tremendously damaging and could be even fatal to us. Probably fatal to the deer too. But I did a video on that, adding a brush guard, $600. And thanks to Kevin at 30 and a Wake Up. If you haven't seen his channel, he's newish to the van life movement in his National Park Foundation Edition Travato. KL is what he's running around in. He lifted his rig. He had a outfitter in the Provo, Utah area lift his rig 4 inches. So I have that on my to-do list when I roll through Utah here in the next month or two. I'm guessing it's about $2,000. So tires, wheels, Summo Springs, throw rugs, van wrap, solar replaced with deck, brush guard, lift the rig. That is just under $11,000, $10,950. So I'm waiting for the actual numbers on what a National Park Foundation Edition option package is. I'm guessing it's pretty north of 10,000. I don't know for sure. I'm guessing it's probably 15 to 20. We'll find out. I'm hoping to get that information. And if I don't get it before I publish this, I will get it in the notes down below and we'll update those. So I've essentially turned my standard Travato into a National Park Edition, less the 4th core and the Volta system, which is okay because I move to charge. I actually have, I would argue, an even better system for just under $11,000. My question for you is, which Travato is better for you? The National Park Foundation Edition or a standard Travato that you might mod out anyway? And what mods might you be making on a National Park Edition? Curious about that as well. Please comment below if you got anything out of this today. Sure would appreciate a thumb up. Subscribe to this channel. If you're into the van life way to RV, if you're into Class B RVs, if you're into Winnebagos, Travatos, curious about Volta systems, if you're curious about cool places to go like this, why do I live in a van with my corporate job, my cat? My partner joins me once a month and we float around. Why am I doing that? If you're curious about any of that kind of stuff, you're looking to be a better RVer, get into the RV experience with less drama, please consider being a subscriber to this channel. It would be an honor to have you be part of the success of this channel. We're just approaching 10,000 subscribers, which is amazing. The last question for you is, have you visited my website? Yes, I have a website, GoSmallLiveLarge.com. Right there we have events posted. We have Zoom live Q&A events that we hold on a regular basis, YouTube live events also. Viewer recommendations. Many of the recommendations you give to me, I share back out to the YouTube community under audience recommendations. There's essential RV memberships that I think you should have, like Harvest Hosts. And I'm also putting on there the essential RV YouTube channels that I enjoy a lot. So if you're not subscribing to all those, consider doing that as well. I have an Amazon store called Get Gear. On there are the items that I use all the time and highly recommend. I make a few cents off of commission, so thank you for helping support the channel. Luke and I need to eat. And if you'd really honor me with your email, we're up to about 400 now. I'm sending out very sporadic email messages on these events that are coming up. So with that, I thank you and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. The ducks are super intrigued. I think they're looking for food. Maybe they've never seen a cat on a walk before. Most people here are kind of like, what is that? A cat on a leash? Go, Luke, go. Come here. Luke. Luke. Oh, yes, sir. What do you think of those ducks, Luke?